And then you wind up being a slave in your own dynasty. You know, it happens to people all the time, but they don't see it, and it's right. But when you do see it, that's the great embarrassment, because it was right there out of your mouth. Every word you're told, right out of your own mouth, you're destroying yourself. I mean, these bodies were made to last a lot longer than this. So actually, we're all committing suicide. I mean, oh, yeah, you can lie to yourself. You know, I did that a long time, all kinds of lies to myself. But you see, it's like a hen laying an egg. Pretty soon it's going to hatch, and you got a chicken running around here. You know, come on. And the brain, I know it's a vegetable brain, but enhanced by those who are within you. See, and it works perfectly. See, you can't blame them. But it works fine. You're told right in the scripture how to treat your mind. In other words, choose to stay. Think on things lovely and of good report. I mean, not me. That's an invitation from God. And you know about it. See, if you didn't know about it, that'd be one thing. But I already told you. See, now you're infected, and it'll bug you. But if you ever connect with it, it'll be the happiest day of your life, right? You're set free. You're told you're set free. As you think you are, start being free right now, this hour. It even breaks it down to an hour to tell you that right here, right now is the appointed hour of desired change. And everybody desires change, but nobody really, they don't design it. It's just a floating idea. And every once in a while you bump into it. And for a moment or so you get lost, but then something will distract you, it's gone again. See, that's it. Our distractions. Actually, we set ourselves up for distractions because we want to be distracted. Because if we're not distracted in some way or another, then our thinking causes thoughts of condemnation. You see, and then what you think of yourself, that's what you experience, right?
Absolutely.
I'm sure you got something to say by now.
I want to go back to you were stating at one point that God was asleep in the individual, and it really answered my question to you earlier. God had awoke in you when you came to the realization that God was in you. So God is asleep in each one of us. Is that correct?
Yeah. Hey, look, right off, we're told in the beginning of humanity, in the beginning, there was only God. And then in the end, there's only God. And this is what he's doing. He's dreaming the dream, but he gave you, see, he gave you to choose the route. And you are choosing the route because you're thinking feelingly, and that is your route. Do you like it? Hey, look, if you're suffering something, you dreamt it up. I mean, really. I mean, literally, you dreamt them up. You thought about it. You gave him a place, a part in the drama, man, and now he's with you. And you're saying, why is he with me? Because you drew him in. You see, Your world is coming through you, not to you. Right there, that's enough of a point to change your mind, change your world. Right there. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I do want to add to what you said. You said, listen, if you're suffering or if you're experiencing it, if you're allowing it, you drink it up. And that's a hard pill to swallow because most of us, but when I
Yeah.
look back on my own life, I can attest that that's absolutely true.
And when you see that it's true, you can look at everybody else's problems the same way. It's true for them, but they don't know they're creating it. And that's why they go off to the doctors and the nurses. Now, I'm saying anything against the doctors and the nurses. They're there to patch us up when we're not paying attention. And that's what it is. Because what has your attention has your life. And if you're there at the doctor, then you weren't paying attention. Because it says that if you turn to me, nothing will come nigh you. See, God says, I'm right here. He even calls himself the shield and buckler. See, in other words, he's there to protect you. And everything he tells you is a protection for you. But are you listening? Do you? Yeah, you listen and you agree with it, but 5 minutes later you forgot it. And I've done that, I don't know, hundreds of times. But then that's the reason why it took me so long. It took me years to understand. It didn't need to take years, weeks, months, maybe. Yeah, if you're focused. See that's really that's that hard spot, that focus. See, you can think about it. You can be in the good graces for at least a few seconds, maybe even a minute sometimes, but then you're off thinking something else somewhere else, and then the whole thing just went away. And you're saying, "Why me?" Just right there. That's why you. That's why you have those problems. Is that you don't deal with them. You see, you push them off to the side. Later, later, later comes. Hey, are we ready now? No, no. Forget it. And that's exactly what you do. And then sooner or later, it'll pop up again, and you'll go, I remember that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What? What? Do what? What? Gone again. Look, I make a joke out of it, but tell you the truth. That is exactly what happens.
Absolutely.
See, uh, even Albert Einstein said he wanted to know God's thoughts. All the rest of it's details. And you're giving details to your experiencing, thinking feelingly ahead of your evidence every day. So you actually are changing your, sometimes you change it pretty nice, but then you've changed it back before anything ever got built out of it. So, change your mind so quickly. And what was it? What was a statement that do not let the double-minded man think he
Thank
will anything?
from God. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're the temple of the living God. Got that? You're the temple of the living God. I am with you always, will never leave. Never leave. Isn't that, boy, that sure sounds like that omnipresence. I mean, that immortality is handed to you, and you really, and it's right there. But actually, you have it anyway. But we're kind of those ones who were sent out to find that one of the 99 that got lost. And we keep telling them the story, but they're still lost. See? But it's okay. You see, here's the benefit by telling them the story over and over and over. You get to hear it too. See, I know I don't know exactly how it's going to come out, but I know what I'm going to tell you. and I start getting excited over it because I get to hear it too. And every time I hear it, see, this is a self in self and risen drama. And every time you get that a little bit more, get a little bit higher. See, and when you get a little bit higher, you get a little more material to examine, more material, and it just goes on and on and on. And it gets. We're told to bring heaven on earth, and aren't we told
Yeah,
to bring heaven on earth?
absolutely.
So if God has told you to bring heaven, then you why don't you believe you can do it? Why do you remember the sign over my door up there?
Yeah,
Heaven on earth.
heaven on earth.
And you see, it's that close to you all the time. But you have to claim it. Knowing about it, yes, okay, that's a great place to start. But that's all it is a start. But if you think about it from the start, it goes quickly. As long as you're paying attention to it, it's working in your behalf. But when your attention is shifted, then it's your responsibility to take care of whatever it is. It might be something necessary, take care of it. But then as soon as it's over, get back to the sanity you had just a moment before. You see, and if you can do that a few times, maybe more than a few times, but if you can do that once in a while, you'll wind up creating a habit of doing that. And see, some habits are good. I mean, getting the spoon to the mouth, It took a little practice. They probably over here, over there, but sooner or later they got it to the mouth. And then once they tasted the food, then they knew that's where they wanted to put it. I know these explanations are a little simplistic, but to tell you the truth, I had to get it that way. They had to be simplistic. They had to be very, very simple. Because if they had, they went right over my head. As a matter of fact, they went over my head anyway for quite a while because I wouldn't pay attention to them. I wouldn't shut up long enough to pay attention to anything that was being shown me all along. You see, because I'm experiencing what I'm doing in mine, and there it is. I'm doing it. So that must mean that that's where I got it, right here. And that's where it is, right there. But you get it out here if that's what you pay attention to. It sounded right to me.
It sounded good. Let me add some. You were talking about the sign in your room about heaven. When I was there visiting, I had come in from the store and I inquired with your wife where you were, and she said he's up in heaven. So she already knew that his sign was posted on the door called heaven. So she sent me up to heaven to see Mr. Lindell when I was there to visit. But I just want to go back to that sign, uh, the heaven sign on your door. Your wife acknowledged that, and she said he's in heaven. So,
Yeah. Yeah. See, people always saying, "Well, you don't seem to have much company other than your phone." But I mean, you don't seem to have much company. No, I don't. I don't, because I don't really find that many interesting people to talk to. You understand? And I say that I'm not saying, I'm just stating a fact, right? I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying that what they're thinking about and what I'm thinking about, there's no connection really at all. See, seeing them is all I'm getting out of it, and what they're talking about. You know, no, not gonna go there. I got to watch myself.
what you said, I hear from a lot of people. and I'm speaking of spiritually minded people, that most people can't identify what it is that they're talking about. So conversation becomes very limited. And so then they look for communities of people that can identify what it is that they're talking about.
Oh yeah, that's that was a whole idea well, really of getting churches together. See, so they could exchange ideas. You see, so you have a broader scale to choose from. See? And of course, we're talking about God's ways here, as opposed to our ways, because we've already seen how we do it. You know, I mean, somebody pisses you off, go get a gun and shoot them. I mean, come on, that's we can't have a society like that. I mean, come on, it's just dragging us all down when that happens. But the thing of it is that we can corral this. It's all here, how to do it. And the only way you're going to get it is that you're going to sit in the silence, be still, and know that I'm God. So if you know that he's God, then everything else just falls in place, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
What do you have to do to know that he's God first? You got to convince yourself. You see, you have everything you need nearer than hands and feet, it tells you. Everything you need to solve any problems, it's all right there. But you have to turn to it. See, it's there, it's yours, and it was meant for you, first person, but you still have to claim it. Because if you don't claim it, see, then you didn't choose it. And you're given choose this day, and if you don't choose it, well, then you don't get it. It sounds simple enough to me, doesn't it to you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Here's a little more than Irish coffee. Oh, it brought me a note. To be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best night and day to make you everybody else means to fight the hardest battle in which any human being can fight and never stop fighting. But actually, you don't have to make a battle out of it. You see, yeah, you can gird up and get you a big sword and go on and whack away at the world. But yeah, what you're going to find is, man, they're whacking back. And some of them are better than you, I'll bet you. So I guess you know what you're going to lose. Attitude, awareness, and imaginational control. You get just these two working in conjunction with your thinking and feeling, and you can stroll through. I'm telling you, want to know how to get out of all this and stroll. That's it right there. Attitude, awareness, and imaginational control. You get these two working for you, you just stroll right through. And if they're not working for you, you don't get to stroll through, probably wind up hung somewhere. I mean, from one extreme to the other. And that's what we're working with. We're working from one extreme to the other, right here. But what? Look around you. Look at the people who are enjoying life. What are they thinking that I'm not thinking? See, there's got to be something. Everybody they want to always beat up the rich people. What? Why? Why? They had sense enough to think how to get it, and so do you. But they did it, and you only know about it, and they got it, and you don't. So knowing about it ain't enough. We've repeated that several times, haven't we?
Absolutely. But it's important to hear.
Yeah, come on. I had to hear it over and over and over. And still, even after I got identifiable benefits from doing what I was supposed to do, I still forgot it. I still forgot it. I'm suddenly I'm working with a problem here, and then I'm going, well, what are you doing? Why are we doing this? Do you want more? No, well, then stop it. And what you do is you stop it here. See, this is where you have to stop. And the best way to stop it in here is to choose a better idea to focus on. That's all you have to do. And if you focus on that idea, even for just moments, it'll start bringing more to broaden that space of understanding. And that's what you're looking for. That's what you're going to churches for understanding. But if you go there as a cripple for 50 years and you're still not a cripple after, you're missing something. You're really missing something. It's there. It's there because I know it's there because you're there. And I know who's with you. So I know they're there also with you, Jesus and God, when you're in that church. But are you listening to them, or are you listening to what they're telling you to do? Come on. You're in charge, but you have to take charge. And it's not easy. It isn't easy taking charge until you once achieve being in charge. You won't go back anymore. No, you're not going to go back anymore. Because no matter what you call it, it's all slavery until you choose to do it differently. And give me liberty or give me death. That's what Nathan Hale said. Either find me guilty and put me to death, or either set me free. One or the other. There you go. What do to do it? So they killed him. But they set him free.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They didn't know that. They didn't know that. I mean, can you imagine the judge saying 5 lifetimes?
Yeah.
Huh? Can you imagine saying, putting that in the man and die? Man's going to die thinking 5 life. Oh, wow. And that's serious business. Because, see, it's serious for the individual because he has to suffer all the nonsense until he catches himself suffering nonsense and sees it for what it is and then drops it. Actually start thinking something. I'm certain you can think something better than what you're doing at the moment. Even, after all this time, I'm still thinking about things that are lovely and of good report. Because there's still more. And that's the thing of it is that it keeps growing and growing. There's more and more and more. And once you have the real experience of just leaving, just setting Lindell in a chair and leaving. Well, he was thinking about nothing important anyway. So, but you can walk right away. You really can. You'll be back, but you can walk right away. Actually, you can even fly if you want to. It's all right. Doesn't matter. You don't even need a plane. You don't need a car. You don't even need a driver. It's all thought. When you begin to see what this little vegetable brain can encompass, I mean, I couldn't. I see. That's how I know that I know first person, because what I've seen was so out of the park, man. All it would do is just confound you. But it's yours. Right here, right now, it's all yours. And the only delay is you dragging your feet. It's you dragging yourself in a condition, in a direction, in a situation you don't want. And it's chewing you all up inside. And it will continue to chew you up inside. See, a lion doesn't go get one nail and then he's okay for it forever. Now he's got to get another one the next day. And maybe you can go a couple of days there, but because a pretty good piece of meat they had there. But the thing of it is that you're on all the time. And you're given choose this day, and since it's always this day, you can change it anytime you want, and all you have to do is change your mind, change your world. And changing your mind changes your world, because changing your mind notifies God what it is you're asking for, and then he's the one responsible. The power is what you're using. You're claiming you're using the power to back you up. And he's always got your back. But that's always what you turn to him. See, he says, you turn to me, I'll turn to you. It's only one turning. You understand? And he's already said he'd be there. So where are you? And someone says, well, how do you get in contact? Just sit down and shut up. That's all. He said, be still. Not quiet. Be still. Don't do none of that. Be still. I know it. I know it's rough at first. It really is. But after a while, when it's something, you just ignore it, and you'd be surprised what you can ignore. You really would understand. This is matter of fact, the hypnotist came in and started talking to this guy who was in really bad pain. And he was talking to him, and the guy just kind of just mellowed out for a little while and sat there and just was listening to the guy talk. And well, there was a couple of us listening. And what he said was perfectly legit. And he got up after he finished talking to the guy. He got up and he left the room. And immediately the guy started talking to someone there, and he was right back in it again. He was right back in it, complaining for every 5 or 6 things he had complained. And here he was telling him about it again. And the guy just finished talking to, and he wasn't going in pain while the guy was talking to him. So he did give him a rest period. But what did he do with it? The next minute, then he's back telling it to him again. Why? Why you want to spread it around? Didn't you have all these people looking at you and saying, oh, poor guy. See, you can get in the habit of using that as a compliment. You actually can use someone going, oh, as a compliment. They're only agreeing to keep you in where you're at. And you get a whole bunch of them doing it and agreeing with, and all those minds. You just bored a hole in the boat. and the boat don't like holes in it. It'll sink right away. And that's what you're doing. You're sinking with the ship. If you're not thinking, and understand, we're not trying to tell you what to think. What we're explaining to you is that it's what you're already thinking that you're experiencing. And if you want to change it, then you have to change what you're thinking ahead of the experiencing. Well, how many ways can you say that?
You can't say it too many more ways than that. But, sir, like always, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, it's that time.
Actually, it's 11:03.
Yeah.
All right. Did I allow you to say anything?
Not much, but it wasn't required.
My wife always says, "Oh, God, don't get him started."